Joining us with his thoughts on the Orlando attack is terrorism analyst Matthew Graham. Good morning, Matthew. Now we're talking about, is this now a guerrilla war? Are we at war?
Well, absolutely. We've been at war for about 1,000 years. So the latest actions, and when we hear somebody from CARE, when we hear the imam say that there's nobody that could have predicted this, it's a little disingenuous and a little different than what we see play out. So while they're saying nobody could predict this, we understand that somebody with a misguided belief system, which a belief system, even though misguided, is still a belief system, who professes a certain jihadist religion, there's aspects of that you can kind of forecast and see what's going on. And so this is just another line, another instance in that long line of jihadist attack.
And Matthew, we could have predicted this. We have statements from his ex-wife. There was violence in that relationship. There's statements from his co-workers saying he was so volatile in the workplace, and he was investigated not once but 2 times, interviewed by federal authorities.
It is, and it's difficult to do because people say things all the time, people text things all the time, and in our society, in our way of life, we're open and we're free in what we're able to say. So it's very difficult to find out which people are going to then act upon it, and that's what we see here, somebody who takes that final step and takes action. So while we wouldn't necessarily be able to predict which person in the crowd is going to do it, we can predict and understand that these events are going to continue to occur.
We saw Pulse nightclub, Virginia Tech, Sandy Hook. These are some of the deadliest shootings in U.S. history, and now this event over this weekend goes down as #1 deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history. I wanted to ask you, Matthew, about soft targets. We are one people here in the United States of America. This could have been any community. Your thoughts across from West Coast to East Coast?
Well, absolutely. Every target we have is a soft target. When we have people jumping the fence and running into the White House, we don't have hard targets here in the United States. So it's going to be extremely difficult because it comes back to what we just talked about, action. You can't harden every target. And here we had an individual that was in the security field, had a weapons licenses, so their access to both the gear and equipment and the locations would appear on the surface to get through that first and second layer of scrutiny. So again, it comes back to a belief system and a misguided belief system that they're responding to.
Matthew, how do we determine and define the link to ISIS that Mateen had? Did he have direct contact with any leaders of ISIS? It seems a little bit different the way ISIS has claimed responsibility for this attack as opposed to others, in addition to the fact of how it was carried out in the sense that he had rifles and, you know, the Paris and Brussels attackers, they had suicide vests, for instance.
Absolutely. And on some level, you know what, it doesn't even matter that the way that the Middle Eastern jihadist network is going to profile this and promote this and use this for their propaganda is going to look entirely different than how we want it and how we're going to see it. So the link analysis between him and the main body element may not be direct, and on a lot of these cases, it doesn't have to. Just like San Bernardino, there's not going to be a specific order that we can pull off. We can't find a specific test method. But back in 2014, their Caliph al-Baghdadi said, after this date, there's nothing between us but the sword. So they're just acting on that same belief system.
Matthew, quickly, I have about 30 seconds left. President Obama gave a very moving speech, obviously very direct. He left out one phrase, radical Islam. Your thoughts on that? How important is that phrase?
Well, it's extremely important. It's the common thread between all of them. So from back in '93 and all the bombings at the World Trade Center, the Christmas party shooting in San Bernardino, the Boston Marathon bombing, there's a common thread. This nightclub, the concerts in France, that single common thread is radical Islam. And until we address that, we're not going to end it.
All right. Matthew Graham, terrorism expert, we really appreciate that you're with us today to break this down for us on a very difficult day. Thank you.